Hi everybody, Dave here. What is your perspective when it comes to work? That's the question today. What is your perspective? Are you trying to please men or are you trying to please God? You know, this whole series of Devos that we're doing this week all tied to the sermon I did this past weekend. And it's about work, adulting in the workplace. And the first thing we looked at was working with respect, working respectfully. And we're to give respect to the people in our workplace. And then we're to work sincerely, and that means to work with integrity and honesty and righteousness at the workplace. Now, the third action we can take as we change our perspective from trying to please the customer, trying to please the boss, trying to please the shareholders, rather than pleasing God. The third one is that we work obediently. And I know we don't like that word. None of us like that word. When we were kids, we didn't like the word, whereas adults, we don't like the word. But listen to what God says in Ephesians 6:6. Remember, this is a study in Ephesians 6:5-9. It says, obey them. In this case, it says, slaves, obey your masters. And we could tie this to slaves being employees and masters being employers. And again, we're not talking about them lording over you. We're just talking about positions here. It says, obey them not only to win their favor. Remember, goodwill or good works will then produce goodwill, which then hopefully you'll give the good news. Obey them not only to win their favor when their eye is on you, but like slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from your heart. Basically, he's saying, when the boss is not there, we're still supposed to be people who obey what we've been told to do. So if you have a job to do and you slack in that job, you're not being obedient to the employer who is paying you to do this, and you're not being obedient to God who is watching you do this. On the same token, a boss who does not compensate the people that they're working like they said they would are not being obedient to God and their own word. They're not being sincere. They're not being honest. They're not being people of integrity, as we talked about last week. And you are disobeying God because you're supposed to be one that's supposed to be lifting your people up, that they are direct reports to you. So what do we need to do today? Well, let's not be like Saul. We talked about this weekend. Saul was a man of lots of gifts and abilities. He was the first king of Israel. But the problem was he tried to put things in his own timing. And in this case, Saul was about to go into battle. He had all his guys out there waiting to go. And God said, wait until Samuel comes to do the sacrifice before you go into this battle. Well, after time passed by, his guys were starting to whine and complain, and he became a people pleaser. He basically went and said, okay, I know God says one thing, but these guys are all whining and complaining, and we got to get into battle, so I'm not going to trust God. I'm just going to do the sacrifice myself, and we can move forward. And the minute he did that sacrifice, God had Samuel walk up. And Samuel looked at him and said, your kingdom is going to be gone. You're not going to be king anymore. And later on, he died with his son in battle. And it was not a good thing. This was later on down the line, but not a good thing. So let's not be like Saul. Let's think about what Saul did. He didn't wait for God's timing in all this thing, right? He didn't wait. He wasn't obedient. And a lot of times for us is our impatience with our job situation, with our work situation. We do things that we shouldn't do, that are against what the rules of the business are because of our impatience. So I want to challenge you. Look at what your job description is. Look at what you're supposed to do, and let's obediently do it. Let's build that goodwill as we do our good deeds as we're supposed to do, so we can present the good news. Guys, obedience is a big deal. I know we don't like it, but we've got to do it. So look at the things where you're disobedient in your workplace and change that perspective, because you know God is watching. Guys, have a great day and have fun being obedient to the Lord.